Hey guys, tonight we're diving into one of the strangest, softest battles in Japanese history, the 17th century pillow fight tradition. Yes, you heard that right, a real pillow fight. But before you get too excited, just know, this isn't the kind you had at sleepovers. This one comes with protocol, reputations, and possibly splinters. Ooze have just stepped into Edo period Japan. The year is somewhere around 1650. The air smells like damp wood and soy broth. The cicadas are screaming their usual nonsense outside. And your sandals squish a little too much against the floorboards of the inn you've just checked into. Everything's lit with soft lantern light, flickering shadows on paper walls. You're tired, you're hungry, you just want to lie down. But oh no, you may not even survive the first night. Oh, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe. But only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Hey, let me know in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is right now. I love seeing how far our sleepy little stories travel. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You arrive at a ryokan, a traditional Japanese inn. At first glance, it's peaceful. Tatami mats line the floor. A woman in a faded indigo kimono welcomes you with a bow so low you think she might tip forward. Everything feels respectful, quiet, almost sacred. And then you notice it. The pillows. Not just one or two. Dozens. All the same awkward shape, small, rectangular, and much firmer than you're used to. They're not even on the beds. They're stacked in a woven basket near the corner of the room, almost like ammunition. You squint at them, a look, ready. As you settle in and sip the warm tea someone silently brought you, you try not to let your imagination run wild. Maybe they just keep extras. Maybe people here have bad necks. You give one of the pillows a squeeze, filled with buckwheat hulls. Ooh, definitely not something you want hitting you in the face at 2 a.m. The innkeeper returns and gestures toward your room. Please enjoy your rest, she says, then lowers her voice. If it gets loud tonight, just follow your instincts. What? Ooh, blink. But she's already gliding down the hallway, her sleeves rustling like paper. You're left standing there, holding a pillow like it might bite you. Fast forward to just past midnight. You wake up to a faint thud, then another, then a muffled yelp from down the hall. You sit up, heart racing, ears straining. Someone's laughing. Then, whoosh, a pillow smacks into your sliding door from the outside. Others puff through the rice paper.
Ooh, peek out, chaos.
Group of guests, still in their sleeping yukata, are tiptoeing through the corridors like ninjas, hurling pillows at one another with shocking precision. One old man leaps over a low table like it's the Warring States period all over again. A young woman dives behind a folding screen. Two kids are holding up a futon like a riot shield. You're not dreaming. This is real. Here's the weird part. It's all silent. No shouting, no screaming. Just padded footfalls, controlled breath, and the occasional soft grunt. Like everyone agreed to fight but stay polite about it. Eta historians would argue about this phenomenon. Some claim it began as a way to vent frustrations in a time of social rigidity. Others think it was simply the result of too much sake and too little evening entertainment. Few academics even suggest it was an unspoken form of communication, a way for guests to bond, assert status, or flirt, without breaking any formal rules, or just trying not to get clocked in the face. Pillow lands near your feet. It's heavier than it looks. Instinctively, you pick it up. In that moment, standing barefoot on tatami, surrounded by strangers in nightclothes mid-battle, you realize, I've been drafted. Ooh, hesitate. Pillow is in your hands now, but your modern brain is still trying to process the situation. This is not in the Lonely Planet guidebook. There's no YouTube tutorial for how to survive a 17th century Japanese pillow brawl. Ooh, peek out again. Man with a graying top knot is pressed behind a shoji screen. We whisper, counting down like a samurai preparing for ambush. Teen boy with a mischievous grin crouches nearby, making eye contact with you and then gestures like go. Now, And somehow, you go. You slide the door open as quietly as possible and tiptoe into the corridor, pillow clutched tightly like it's a sacred relic. Floorboards creak slightly under your feet, and instantly, 3 heads turn toward you. It's as if you've been spotted by woodland creatures. One woman raises an eyebrow. Then a pillow spins through the air like a ninja star aimed right at your chest. You flinch, but it hits you with the most undignified poof imaginable. No pain, just a ridiculous puff of buckwheat-scented air. The woman gives a slight nod. You've been welcomed? Turns out this inn isn't just any inn. It's known secretly for hosting these pillow skirmishes among seasoned travelers, low-ranking samurai, retired carriers, and mischief-prone merchants. It's never advertised, but if you know, you know. All duck behind a wooden pillar as a pillow glances off the back of a young man's head. He stumbles dramatically and falls flat on his futon, arms sprawled like he's just lost a war. Another guest leans over and quietly places a teacup on his chest like a grave marker. Nobody speaks. Theatre. Rules are unspoken, but clearly enforced by years of collective etiquette. You start picking them up one by one. Ever aim for the face, unless you really don't like someone. Don't ruin the hairdo. That's sacred. Are allowed 1 fake death per night. 2. If you're charming, ever throw while someone is holding tea. Few academics later described this phenomenon as a form of silent rebellion. In a society where hierarchy and etiquette ruled every waking moment, this was a midnight loophole, a safe space where rank meant nothing and pillow accuracy meant everything. Ooh, hear a soft cough behind you. Too late. Unk, right to the back of your neck. You spin around to see a little old lady. Seriously. She looks like she could be someone's sweet grandma, twirling a pillow in her hand like a cowboy with a lasso. Her eyes sparkle mischievously as she gives you a nod of respect, then glides away into the shadows like a geriatric ninja. Congratulations. You've just been targeted by one of the silent generals, a term later used in obscure travel journals to describe the elders who orchestrated pillow attacks with terrifying precision. Some guests swore these matriarchs had trained in ancient martial arts. Others said they were just bored. Historians still argue about it. Was it planned chaos? Was it a game passed down through whispers and ritual? Was it just what happens when people live in wooden houses with thin walls and too many expectations? Nobody really knows, and that's kind of the point. Back in the hallway, someone tosses a pillow into the air like a smoke signal. People scatter. You realize that every movement has meaning. Every hit, every dodge, it's all part of a strange, shared language. And that says, we're tired of bowing all day. And that says, you annoyed me at dinner, but I still like you. And that says, tonight, we're equals. Let's fly. Ooh, clutch your pillow tighter, heart pounding. It's not about winning, it's about belonging. So you take a deep breath, step forward into the corridor, and with the grace of a sleepy, slightly confused warrior, you let your pillow fly. Ooh, think you're getting the hang of it. You really do. That last throw? Pretty solid. It had arc, it had style. You almost got a head nod from the guy with the big eyebrows. Just as you start to feel the thrill of it all, you step into a new hallway and freeze. This one's quieter, dimmer, and that's when you see them, Ian's staff. Specifically, the women who manage the rooms, the Naya-Ju, the female attendants. They're lined up like ghosts along the wall, arms folded into their sleeves, gazes sharp enough to slice tofu. There are 5 of them, none of them blink. One raises a brow at you, the tiniest twitch as if to say, Ely? You swallow. This feels different. Unlike the guests, who treat this like an unspoken game, the Naya-Ju don't play. They orchestrate. If the guests are dancers, these women are the conductors of the midnight madness. You, unfortunately, have just wandered onto their stage. One of them steps forward. She looks about 50, face serene, but her pillow is already in hand. She speaks softly, almost musically. You are new. You nod cautiously. N, she says, bowing with theatrical grace. You must learn. Bam, without warning. The pillow hits you square in the stomach. Not hard, but fast. You double over, partly from shock, partly from pure drama instinct. A tiny girl behind her giggles. Another flips her sleeve and hands the older woman a fresh pillow like she's reloading. Welcome to the matriarchal frontline. Here's something no textbook ever told you. The women working at these inns were not just passive hosts. They were often former Jasha, couriers' widows, or even daughters of low-ranked samurai families, smart, observant, and surprisingly influential. While the men debated politics or swordsmanship, these women quietly ran the social glue of the inn. And at night, they ran the game. They didn't need to shout. Their authority radiated from their silence. They walked through the pillow battlefield like queens through a garden. And if someone crossed the line, threw too hard, broke a lamp, or hit a child. One pillow from a Naya Jew could reset the entire room. They were the umpires, the judges, the unspoken legends. A later historian would argue that the rise of pillow fighting culture actually coincided with the increasing female managerial roles in Edo period inns. Control without violence, he wrote, was often delivered via a flying object made of feathers, still up for debate, of course. Back in the hallway, the women surround you, not in a threatening way, more like a circle of elegant cats deciding whether or not to let you join their nap. Ooh, bow. They bow back. One of them places a pillow gently in your arms, pats your shoulder once, and then vanishes like a ninja made of starch and lavender. Ooh, take a moment to sit. Your heartbeat slows. Your hands stop shaking. There's something strangely comforting in all this. Like, the rules aren't written, but they're felt. A choreography built on decades of whispered etiquette. Language passed down from maid to maid, guest to guest, feather to feather. Soft thunk interrupts your thoughts. Ooh, look up another pillow. Light, direct. Not meant to hurt, just meant to say, your turn. And so, under the watchful eyes of the Naiju, you rise. It's time you bow first, then you throw. Doesn't hit anyone. It lands squarely in a bowl of rice crackers. Someone claps, and for tonight, that's enough. You should have gone to bed an hour ago, but instead, you're now crouched behind a folding screen, clutching a pillow like it's a sacred artifact and trying to regulate your breathing like some kind of sleepy shinobi. The hallway outside is eerily quiet again, too quiet. You peek around the corner, just in time to see something fly past your face. There's not a pillow this time. There's a hairpin. Wait, no, just a decorative chopstick, you think. Still, it's a sign. A battlefield is shifting. Suddenly, hoomp, a pillow slams into your shoulder from behind. You spin around, pillow raised, ready to retaliate. But the hallway is empty, so you think. From the shadows, a figure steps out. She's not wearing a yukata like the others. She's wearing a striking, silken kimono. The face is powdered, lips red like lacquer. Hair sculpted with near-geometric precision. She walks like smoke. And Warren, Otajasha, not exactly. Or like a high-ranking courtesan from the Yoshiwara district. Known not only for beauty, but for wit, sharp tongues, and the ability to humiliate daimyos using only 3 syllables. She's holding a pillow or gulp. He raises one eyebrow. Her lips twitch ever so slightly, half a smirk, half a dare. Then, in one sudden movement, she twirls and spins the pillow in your direction, releasing it with such grace and accuracy. It brushes past your ear like a whisper of silk. You've been formally challenged. The other guests retreat like theater extras exiting stage left. This isn't their scene. Ooh, hold your ground. Barefoot, disheveled, sweaty pillow-hugging. You, a time-lost nobody in loose pajamas, now stand face to face with someone who probably once made a samurai cry using only her fan and vocabulary. Her pillow is now at your feet. You pick it up. Airs applause somewhere in the distance. What unfolds next isn't a pillow fight. It's a performance. He steps right, you step left. She feints, you flinch. He circles you with the poise of a dancer, and you try to copy her moves with the grace of a person who stubbed their toe 5 times tonight. You keep up, then you land one. A pillow touches her shoulder. He gasps, a room gasps, and one drops a teacup. She pauses for dramatic effect, then clutches her chest and collapses gracefully onto a floor cushion like an overworked actress in a kabuki drama. Her fan drops. A stray feather floats through the air. You swear the lights dim a little. Then she sits up, smooths her sleeves, and nods once as if to say, "You'll do." Later that night, While nibbling on a pickled plum you don't remember ordering, you overhear two older men whispering about what just happened. "That was Lady Sumiko," one says. "Warren of the East Wing? He only challenges once a month. But did that foreigner do to deserve it? Apparently he bowed correctly." Weiss. Turns out, posture matters. Historians still haven't agreed on whether courtesans truly participated in these pillow rituals, or if this is all folklore born from gossip and overactive imagination. There are woodblock prints, highly stylized, depicting women in ornate robes mid-pillow swing. Some say they were metaphor. Others say, nope, it happened. And honestly, standing there barefoot in the aftermath of that exchange, you're inclined to believe the more interesting version. You finish your plum. A new pillow lands at your feet. You look up. Another woman, laughing softly. She points behind her, where a group is gathering. One of them gestures at you like you're on their team now. You smile. Let's call it a promotion. Okay, so you're in now. No more widdied confusion. No more ducking behind screens like a lost tourist. You've been accepted, weird pajamas and all, into the secret society of Edora nocturnal nonsense. Your arms are sore. Your foot still kinda hurts from stepping on a misplaced rice cracker. But your soul is thriving. Ooh, grab a fresh pillow from the communal basket, fluffier than your first one, and head down the back corridor. This is the old part of the inn. Floorboards moan like old men telling war stories. You pass by faded calligraphy scrolls, incense still smoldering in the corners, and an unexplainable cat that may or may not be a ghost. Then you hear it, a grunt, a thud, very undignified oof. You peek around the corner just in time to see a grown man, a samurai, no less, get clocked square in the back by a pillow and collapse with exaggerated flair onto his futon. Two women cheer. Third hands them both a small bowl of pickled daikon as if rewarding a solid performance. Aight, samurai, they're in on this too. Ooh, thought this was a guest thing. A civilian pastime. No, turns out even the warrior class, those stoic, sword-wielding walking statues of Bushido, can't resist the charm of a good old-fashioned pillow war. You watch as one samurai, probably mid-40s, with a receding hairline and extremely serious eyebrows, strides back into the room, straightens his robe, and solemnly selects a pillow like he's choosing a blade before battle. He looks you dead in the eyes, O's, and throws with surprising speed. You barely dodge. The pillow slams into the wooden beam behind you with a thud so loud you flinch. The samurai nods in approval, then gestures for you to return fire. It you do, adly. The pillow hits his shin, rolls off harmlessly, and lands in a pot of cold miso soup. There's a pause. Then the samurai lets out a deep theatrical sigh, collapses backwards onto the tatami like he's just been betrayed by his clan, and mumbles, shinned, shimata. Everyone laughs, even him. Earns out, many lower-ranked samurai, ronin, and even bored palace guards often stayed at inns like this while traveling. Stuck between rigid formality and long hours of waiting. Some of them found release in these impromptu night games. One obscure diary even mentions a pillow duel between two feudal bureaucrats over a spilled sake bottle. The entry ends with, "No honor lost, only hairpins." Odden historians still scratching their heads. Was this a true cultural phenomenon, or just the weirdest footnote in Edo sociology? Some claim it was nothing more than isolated mischief. Others suggest it evolved into a subtle ritual, a performative pressure valve for Japan's tightly wound social order. The way, you're here for it. Back in the room, the samurai sits up and gives you a nod. "You have potential," he says, dead serious. You're not sure whether to laugh or salute. You end up doing both. Then another pillow flies in, from the side this time, and chaos erupts once more. The samurai ducks. You dive behind a folding chair. Someone yells, "Arakwa Kinshi da!" Woman runs by holding two pillows like dual swords. This is no longer a battle. It's an art form, You're slowly becoming a part of its story. You're starting to realize something. This isn't a free-for-all. It looks like chaos, people running in yukata, pillows flying like meteorites, a samurai fatiguing in the corner, but there's something deeper underneath it. Rhythm. adds a rhythm to the madness, like some invisible conductor keeping time with feather and force. You pick up on it when the door slides open with a dramatic snap, and a young man stumbles in, cheeks flushed, half his kimono slipping off one shoulder. He's clearly had one too many cups of sake. And by the look of the red blotch on his forehead, he's also had one too many pillow hits. He grins at you like your old drinking buddies. And he yells, Kaizen leaps, over a footstool and into the fray. Others everywhere. Others a disaster. Beautiful, slow-motion disaster. He knocks over a lamp, crashes into a futon, misses everyone with his throw, and somehow manages to fall directly into a pickled radish plate. You think that's it. Game over. Embarrassment eternal. But instead, the room cheers. One of the older women helps him to his feet. Someone wraps a sparrow bie around his head like a bandana. Girl bows and hands him back his fallen pillow with the ceremony of a lost sword. He's now part of the battle again. Earns out, failure is part of the show. It's the soul of it, actually. A goal isn't to be perfect. It's to participate, to lose with flair, to fail with dignity, or at least comedic timing. You remember what one of the attendants whispered earlier? Better to fall spectacularly than to never throw. And you get it now. Because that young man, he just made 12 strangers laugh. In Edo period Japan, where hierarchy suffocated spontaneity, that kind of shared silliness was rare, precious even. Some historians say these pillow skirmishes functioned like miniature theater pieces. Each participant played a role. The bold challenger, the tragic martyr, the sneaky trickster hiding behind a screen with 3 pillows and no honor. Over time, stories grew from these moments. Who flung the first pillow, who caught it midair, knocked over the monk's incense burner and lived to tell the tale. There's even a scroll in a Kyoto archive that depicts a pillow duel tournament. Scholars still argue if it's satire or documentary. Back in your reality, the room has reset, and one slides open a window to let in cool night woman is braiding her hair again. A child with a tiny topknot is sleepily chewing on a rice ball while hugging a pillow like a plushie. Everything settles for a moment. Ooh, breathe out. Your arm still tingles from your last throw. Your toes are cold, but your heart's warm. Unexpectedly warm. Ooh, never expected to feel so welcome in a place where nobody really talks. It's all looks, nods, throws. But it's communication. It's connection. The drunken samurai raises a cup of tea to you from across the room. You raise yours back, and someone yells, Yojahan Desu! There's a collective groan. A battle pauses. Temporarily. People shuffle off to their rooms, trailing feathers and laughter behind them. You, too, retreat to your futon, pillow tucked under your arm like a trusted sidekick. You think it's over for tonight. Just before you close your eyes, you hear it, soft thud at your door. New challenger, maybe just a good night. Ooh, smile into the darkness. You wake up with a pillow half over your face. The faint scent of buckwheat husks in your nose. And a vague ache in your right shoulder that suggests you either threw like a champion last night or got steamrolled by a grandmother with ninja reflexes. It's morning, Eindar. The light filtering through the shoji doors is pale and silver, that strange in-between glow of dawn in Japan. Somewhere outside, a rooster gives a half-hearted crow like it's embarrassed to interrupt your dreams. You sit up, groggy, blinking through the post-fight haze. You made it through your first night. Early. Now, it's breakfast time. Ooh, shuffle into the main dining hall, trying not to trip over your own yukata. Other guests are already there. Some with faint bruises, others with bedhead resembling ancient woodblock prints. Everyone acting like nothing unusual happened. No one talks about the pillow war. To least, not directly. Instead, people exchange subtle nods, little glances, maybe the occasional smirk over miso soup. The man you accidentally body-checked last night offers you a rice ball in peace. The woman who caught your rookie, level pillow throw in mid, air politely slides the pickled daikon your way. Everything is calm, civilized, but under the surface, still buzzing. That's when you notice it. A small group gathered around a low table near the back. 4 women, young, sharpied, each with slightly puffed sleeves and suspiciously perfect hair. They're whispering in rapid-fire Edo dialect, flicking glances toward a man across the room. You follow their eyes. He's mid-30s, sipping green tea like he's hiding something. He looks up and meets your gaze for half a second. Then he looks away. I've seen him before. Last night, he was the guy hiding behind the folding screen, doing suspiciously accurate pillow throws from the shadows. His movements were too clean, too precise. The others, having fun. Him, calculating angles like it's geometry class. And that's when it hits you. There's a metagame going on. Apparently, there's a tradition here, never spoken, rarely acknowledged, of what some guests call the pillow duelists. They don't just participate, they compete, silently, strategically, through style, accuracy, and flair. It's not about hitting hard, it's about artistry. An innkeeper once called it kabuki with cushions. You overhear whispers. Did you see how he twisted mid-throw? That one girl landed 3 in a row last week. No one even saw her move. He dodged behind the curtain like it was choreographed. Historians, naturally, argue over whether this duelist culture ever existed, or if it's just legend born from bored merchants and overly poetic samurai journals. But there are records, fragmented poems, sketches of pillow warriors. One obscure volume even refers to the Order of the Feathered Hand, which, to be honest, sounds more like a children's book than a secret society. Finish your rice, and something shifts in you. You're not just surviving anymore, you're adapting, learning, watching. Start to see the patterns. Who always sits near the pillows? Who stretches before bedtime? Who ties their obi a little too tightly, like prepping for a duel? And it hits you tonight. The pillow war isn't just playtime. Your audition. Back in your room, you stare at your pillow. You give it a gentle toss, testing weight and spin. It lands with a soft thump. Not bad. Tonight, you'll be ready. Ought to win. That's not the point. Ought to fly a little cleaner, move a little sharper. Maybe even pull off a throw that earns you a nod from the girl with the silent smirk and deadly accuracy. You're not just a tourist anymore. You're becoming one of them. It falls again. This time, you're ready to more rookie mistakes. No more tripping over your own yukata sash or hesitating mid-throw like someone calculating the trajectory of a marshmallow. You've stretched, you've practiced. You've experimented with a one-handed spin move that, admittedly, almost took out a lamp. Slide open your door and step into the corridor like a shadow out of a samurai drama. Well, a shadow in loose pajamas with uncombed hair, but still, Ian is quieter tonight. Too quiet. Make your way down the hall, expecting the usual pre-battle chaos, but instead find the common room oddly peaceful. Everyone's seated around low tables, sipping tea. No pillows in sight, not even a mischievous eyebrow raise. Hesitate. Did you misread the energy? But then, just as you start to turn back, someone clears their throat. From the back corner, a middle-aged man stands, robes neat, posture perfect. He's holding a scroll. 8. Is this being organized now? He bows to the room. Woman to his left begins playing a soft tune on a shamisen. The man unrolls the scroll, and in a clear, theatrical voice declares, "At the 8th night of the feather commence, freeze." Everyone around you calmly reaches under their tables and pulls out pillows. Matching ones, embroidered, color-coded. No, this isn't just a pillow fight, as a structured event. Apparently, once a week or month, depending on who you ask, the inn hosts a formalized version of the pillow games. With roles, rules, teams, it's part ritual, part performance, and part underground sport. Nudged toward a corner. The pillow is placed in your hands, blue embroidery, your new team color. The girl from yesterday, the one with the smug smirk and lightning-fast reflexes, is on your side now. She nods at you like a general briefing a new recruit. "Don't aim for faces," she whispers. "And if you hit the incense altar again, you clean it." Oted. The room is divided, 20 players. Spectators ring the outer walls. 2 referees, elderly women in matching kimonos, stand in opposite corners, pillows tucked under their arms like ceremonial fans. Someone lights a stick of incense. Another rings a tiny bell, aim on. A first move is slow. A boy tosses a pillow in a lazy arc like he's just stretching. Someone catches it midair and spins. A second throw flies, this one faster, cleaner. You duck. The room erupts in polite chaos. But it's controlled chaos. People aren't just throwing randomly. They're using signals, tiny nods, quick hand gestures, the flick of a sleeve. You recognize formations. There's even a triangle maneuver that traps opponents near the tea shelf. You and your teammate execute it beautifully, sending a rival toppling softly onto a floor cushion. Ooh, get a round of silent applause, raised eyebrows and satisfied sips of tea. Every movement feels like a dance. Every hit, a carefully chosen brushstroke. Ooh, starting to feel the rhythm again. And this time, it's deeper, like you've stepped into a centuries-old performance that most people never even hear about. Later, you'll learn that these semi-organized pillow games were recorded in a handful of traveler journals, mostly dismissed by scholars as exaggerated in gossip. A few academics, especially ones who spent late nights in Kyoto drinking too much barley tea, will argue that this was a true form of social theater, space where merchants, samurai, and travelers could interact freely without breaking social code. Oh ranks, oh swords, oh skill, softness and style. A match lasts nearly 40 minutes. Oh injuries, plenty of drama, at least 3 fake deaths. One overacted love confession involving a pillow and a haiku. By the end, everyone's sweaty, breathless, and grinning like children. Your team doesn't win. But when you bow to your opponents, they bow back. And then someone hands you a steamed bun and says, "You throw like a poet." Ooh, don't even know what that means. But it feels like the highest compliment. Just when you think you've figured out all the pillar-related customs this inn could possibly throw at you, figuratively and literally, another surprise floats your way. It's tea time. You're seated cross-legged in a small tatami room. The sliding doors are open, revealing a tiny garden beyond, complete with raked stones, a bent pine tree, and the soothing drip of a bamboo fountain. Everything feels peaceful. Real peaceful. Like, is this where monks go to cry politely? Peaceful? The tea ceremony begins. Woman in a pristine kimono kneels gracefully and begins to prepare matcha. Every movement is precise. She folds her sleeve, wipes the bowl, whisks the green tea into a frothy swirl like it's a sacred ritual, which, to be fair, it is. Ooh, sip. It's bitter, earthy, oddly comforting. Close your eyes for a moment, appreciating the pause, and poof. Pillow lands in your lap. Ooh, blink. The tea woman glances at you with the faintest smirk, like a magician pulling a rabbit from a scroll. She says nothing, just continues whisking. Ooh, look around. Everyone's still quiet, still sipping, still serene. Except now, each guest has a pillow resting beside them. Just casually, as if that's totally normal in a formal tea ceremony. One man even gently pats his like it's a pet. Ooh, glance at your teammate from last night's match. She raises her tea bowl in salute and mouths the word "Asians."
Right. Oh, this is a thing now.
Apparently, after the nightly pillow skirmishes, some guests gather for what can only be described as the post-battle tea truce. It's an unwritten tradition, part wind-down ritual, part emotional ceasefire, where even the fiercest throwers sit side by side and pretend they didn't just attack each other with soft weaponry a few hours ago. At Evan here, there's undercurrent. Ooh, notice the way someone shifts their pillow a little closer to someone else, or how a guest taps their cup twice after a particularly good sip, or the way the tea woman's sleeve brushes across her pillow, then pauses. Just like the battle never really ends, just changes form. A pillow in your lap suddenly feels heavier, symbolic, maybe, a gesture, a truce offering, or a warning. Oh, unsure when this ritual started. Some believe it evolved organically as a way to debrief after battle. Others think it was invented by the inn staff to reduce midnight noise complaints. Few even claim the tea pillow combo is part of an old folk tale, where lovers used tea ceremonies to confess hidden feelings through pillow language. Historians, predictably, still argue. One paper you'll read later insists this was all poetic metaphor, not literal practice. Another, more enthusiastically titled Zen and the Art of Pillow Combat, insists that some inns in Edo developed entire codes of etiquette blending tea culture, with playful resistance. Back in the room, the ceremony draws to a close. The tea woman rises, bows deeply, and says, "Thank you for your sincerity." Everyone bows back. Just as you're about to stand, a tiny old man across from you gently tosses his pillow, boop, right onto your foot. Everyone chuckles. You pick it up, smile, and place it back in his lap with both hands. Another smile, nod, fluent now. Not in Japanese, but in this strange, soft dialect of gestures and throws, of tea and timing, of quiet rebellion with feathers and starch. Later that night, you write down a single sentence in your travel journal. Battles end with bows. Some end with biscuits. Some end with matcha. Then you tuck yourself into your futon, pillow under your head, another one tucked by your side, just in case. Because here, even sleep might be part of the story. You've officially reached that weird point in a long trip where reality starts to feel optional. Every night, pillow duels, silent alliances, over-dramatic collapses onto futons. Every morning, pickled vegetables, polite tea, and pretending like none of it happened. Now, something new has entered the picture. A pillow ledger. It appears one evening, right after a light rain, when the floorboards are still damp and the inn smells like warm cedar and steamed rice. You're headed to the common room, expecting another night of low-stakes mayhem, when someone slides a bound book across the tatami towards you. Thick, old, cloth-bound, with frayed edges. The cover reads nothing but a single handwritten character, "Dream." Ooh, look around. Everyone's acting casual. Except now a few people are watching you from behind their teacups. Ooh, open it. Inside, names, dates, sketches, lists, diagrams. Some pages are covered in dramatic haiku, "Heather in the wind," "My honor lies with the floor," "Revenge at sunrise." There's read-like post-match analysis. Find your name, well, a clumsy phonetic attempt at it, next to the words, "Oren style," surprising accuracy, "excellent arc," overuser's left arm. Is this a scorebook, sort of? You turn more pages and realize this is the in-secret archive of pillow combat, a collective logbook of legendary throws, dramatic fails, memorable duels, and on-scene lifetime moves. Some entries go back decades. One page even has a sketch of a man dramatically shielding a cat with his body during a full pillow assault. Underneath, Asta Kenji, 1794. Saved cat. Lost battle, one hot. This is folklore, community memory. You are now a part of it. Ooh, flip to the most recent entry. Last night's organized match. There's a full diagram of the triangle maneuver. Your name is circled in red. Ooh, blink. That's flattering? Terrifying. Someone leans over your shoulder. It's the shamisen player from earlier. She points at the page, smiles, and says, "Congratulations. You've been noticed." You're not sure what that means. Everyone else seems to. The room gives you that special kind of nod you only get when you've unknowingly passed some invisible test. Someone hands you a pillow with gold embroidery. It's not a promotion. It's a recognition. Later that night, back in your room, you think about the ledger. Ooh, started it. Oh, one knows. Some say it was a bored monk. Others say it was an innkeeper's teenage daughter who kept sketching battles in the margins of laundry lists. Few optimists claim it's been passed from inn to inn for centuries, like a sacred scroll of silliness. Historians? Again divided. There's exactly one academic article that mentions a record of nocturnal combat in an Edo period guest house, but it's mostly dismissed as satire. Still, the entry ends with a hauntingly poetic line. History is not always written with swords. Sometimes it's written with feathers and laughter. Ooh, stare at your pillow now with new respect. It's not just a tool for sleep or chaos. It's a passport, a pen, a legacy. Tomorrow, all writing your own entry, I now. You've completely adjusted to the rhythm of this place. A-time is a dream. You drift through tatami corridors, sip endless green tea, and trade silent glances with people who once tried to pummel you with pillows. Nighttime. That's the real heartbeat. That's when the quiet rustle of futons becomes a battle cry, and you start mentally mapping out your best retreat routes before the first feather flies. Tonight, though, something's different. The energy is charged, like the air before a summer storm. You can feel it. Even the lamps seem to flicker with anticipation. Whispers ripple through the inn like wind through rice paper. Step into the central hall, and that's when you see it, to chalk circle drawn on the tatami floor. Oh, formal duel. Everyone around you shifts, some hiding small grins behind their teacups. You glance to your left, and there she is. The girl with the deadly smirk and surgical precision. The one who caught your first throw 3 nights ago like she was plucking a leaf from midair. E's already standing in the circle, and she's looking at you. All freeze. There's no announcement, no speech. Just a gesture. She lifts her pillow with a bow and holds it forward Challenger style. No, I've been summoned. You step into the circle. Oh, backing out. Not here. Not in front of the ledger keepers, the silent samurai, the Waran judges sipping tea like emperors of fluff. Someone rings a tiny bell. The crowd goes still. Just like that, the duel begins. E moves first. Fast. Too fast. The pillow arcs through the air like a white comet and misses your nose by millimeters. You duck, roll, and launch your counter-strike, a low-gliding throw aimed at her knee. She blocks it mid-swing with the edge of her own pillow and pivots back like she's in a no performance. A light clapping from the corner. You reset. Breathe. Watch her footwork. This isn't just reaction, it's strategy. You mimic her stance, mirror her timing. You start seeing the rhythm again. Duck, toss, spin, pause. The room fades away. It's just you, her, and the dance. All lose track of time. Could be 5 minutes. Could be 15. But eventually you both stand, panting, pillows limp in your hands. No clear winner. No dramatic collapse. Just sweat, laughter, and the wild, ridiculous joy of doing something that makes 0 sense on paper, but feels ancient in your bones. She bows, deeply. The crowd bows too. When the grumpy samurai with the eyebrow scar gives you a rare nod. You've earned respect tonight not because you won, but because you played. Fully, fiercely, softly. Later, someone places a small wooden token in your palm. It's carved with the symbol for feather. You don't ask what it means, you just know it's important. The duel is over. At your story here, still being written. You can't believe how normal it all feels now. 2 weeks ago, you were just a traveler with jet lag and a bad folding map. Now, you're a card-carrying member of an inn-wide nocturnal pillow society. You've participated in organized duels, whispered alliances, silent standoffs, and one accidental mid-air collision with a decorative lantern. A night something ceremonial is happening. You notice it the moment you walk into the courtyard. Everything's been cleaned. Really cleaned. The tatami smells freshly brushed. Candles have been lit and arranged in a wide circle around the room. The inn staff wear matching pale blue yukata. There's even music, gentle, elegant, performed by a young woman on the shakuhachi. The center of it all, on a small lacquer tray, lies a single pillow. It's different from the others, heavier, darker, wrapped in deep purple cloth. No frills, no embroidery, just one long, crimson thread tied around its middle like a seal. Someone whispers beside you, "Ancestor pillow? Excuse me?" You look again. The reverence is real. Everyone's seated around it in perfect silence. Some with eyes closed. Even the smirking girl, your former duel rival, is sitting perfectly still, hands folded in her lap like a monk. A voice rises gently. The innkeeper. I've rarely heard her speak. She begins telling the story, not in dramatic fashion, just calmly, like it's been told 1,000 times. Long ago, she says, before the wars, before Edo was Edo, a traveler arrived at this very inn. Tired, sore, broke, and carrying only a single handmade pillow sewn by his mother. He stayed for 1 night and never left. Over time, he began organizing small games with the children of the village. Playful, silent pillow matches, always respectful, always gentle. And he died. They found his pillow carefully stored away in the rafters. It became a symbol not of battle, but of presence. Choosing to stay, to join, to play, even when the world outside demanded formality, honor and stiff spines, one knows if the story is true. Some scholars think it's folklore, others say the pillow monk was likely a wandering laborer, and a few even insist it was a woman in disguise. But the pillow, it's here, wrapped in purple, untouched. Once a season, it's brought out. Ot for combat, ot for listening. Everyone takes a turn sitting near it in silence. Oh, throwing tonight. No duels, no games. Stillness, or turn comes. All approach with careful steps and kneel before the pillow. You don't touch it. Just sit. Surprisingly, you feel something. Maybe it's the candlelight, or the way the shakuhachi hums gently in the background, or maybe just the weight of so many stories layered into this space. But for a moment, you forget the world. Noise.
The expectations.
You just RO past, no future. Us the echo of feathers and the hush of sleep. All bow, rise, and return to your seat. As follow, the ceremony ends. Then, as if some invisible signal has been given, the inn resumes its gentle buzz. Laughter returns. Tea is poured. Someone hands you a dumpling. But the atmosphere remains hushed, like the last page of a good book. Who understand now? This isn't just a game. It's a ritual. A culture. A gentle resistance against the hardness of the world. A soft rebellion wrapped in fabric and filled with feathers. You smile to yourself. Tomorrow the battles will resume. Up tonight. Tonight, you rest with reverence. You're no longer surprised when things get weird. In fact, you've started to expect it. So when you hear a soft knock at your door just after midnight, you don't panic. You stretch. You crack your neck. You reach for your pillow like a cowboy going for his holster. When you slide open the door, no one's there. A small folded note. Hidden in elegant brush strokes, it reads, "Follow the lanterns. No shoes. Bring your best pillow. Then." You pad through the inn barefoot, guided by tiny paper lanterns set at intervals along the hallway, each glowing softly like a trail of fireflies. The silence is deeper than usual. Even the floorboards seem hesitant to creak. You reach the hidden wing, one you didn't even know existed. A sliding door opens silently to reveal a narrow bridge leading to a secluded garden. Moonlight days the stones in silver. Wind rustles the bamboo. A koi splashes dramatically, like it's part of the cast. And there, waiting in the garden, is a small group. Its figures in simple robes, hoods drawn, each holding a pillow not decorative, not flashy. Just functional, worn, trusted, don't speak, one gestures to an open spot in their circle. You sit. What follows is less battle, more ritual, a silent match under the stars. No one throws hard. No one laughs. Every move is slow, deliberate, almost meditative. You gently toss your pillow to the person on your left. They receive it, bow slightly, then pass theirs to the next person. It's not combat, it's communication. Feather language. All I begin to understand. A gentle lob means respect, a low toss near the feet humility, a high arc gratitude. A near miss is an invitation, a direct hit, bold affection. It's absurd, and yet it works. I've never spoken to these people. Some of them may not even speak your language, but in this strange moonlit circle, through nothing but the weight, arc, and rhythm of pillows, you feel connected. Like a secret society of sleepy philosophers. You're not imagining this. Later, you'll discover a fragment of an old poem carved into a bamboo panel near the garden gate. It reads, "When words were banned, we learned to speak with sleep. Historians will tell you this is metaphor." I'll disagree, because as the match slows to a stop and the final pillows are exchanged with reverent bows, you feel something settle in your chest. A calm, a kind of knowing. This isn't just about pillows. It never was. It's about creating space in a world full of rules, pressure, and the constant buzz of duty. This tradition, however silly it may seem, is a pause button. A moment where softness wins, where silence communicates. Even the stiffest samurai can throw like a child and be applauded for it. Ooh, rise from the garden floor, pillow in hand, and walk back across the moonlit bridge. Oh, words were spoken, but you've never felt more understood. I've now reached the point in your stay where time feels fuzzy. I'm not quite sure what day it is. You think it's been 2 weeks, but it might be 3 or 5. The calendar in your travel bag is still stuck on the day you arrived, tucked beneath your socks and a crumpled map you no longer need. Because nothing out there matters anymore, not in here. Not when you've become part of something that doesn't follow clocks, it follows rhythm. Whispered routines. The sound of sliding doors and the soft thud of a well-aimed pillow. Tonight, there's something in the air, hot tension, anticipation. Hear it in the way the hallways hum. You see it in the glances between staff. Even the koi in the garden seem to be swimming in tighter loops. Then someone says it, one word, softly, reverently, shigatsu. You're right. It is winter, isn't it? Forgot that part. Apparently, this celebrates the new year not with fireworks, not with loud parties, but with a grand pillow procession. You are handed a white robe, a tiny paper lantern, and, of course, a designated pillow, now tied with a red ribbon. Don't ask questions. You join the procession. Esks walk in a line, slow and quiet, through the inn's hallways. At each room, someone bows and places a pillow in front of the door before moving on. It's part offering, part prank, part poetic nonsense. You're told it symbolizes leaving behind the burdens of the old year. If that burden happens to be shaped like a bean-filled cushion, so be it. A final stop is the main courtyard, and there, there's a mountain of pillows. Literally, a small mountain. Maybe 200, stacked into a pyramid, each labeled with someone's name, or a single word, regret, hope, snoring. One just says taxes. A monk from the neighboring temple steps forward. He's ancient, probably retired from actual monk duties, but clearly still the MVP of dramatic entrances. He raises his hand. In one smooth, completely unscripted moment, everyone hurls their pillow at the mountain. It's chaos. Beautiful, poetic chaos. Others fly. Laughter rings out. You throw your pillow with everything you've got. It hits dead center and causes a small avalanche of other pillows to collapse in your wake. Someone cheers. Then, just as quickly, silence returns. Everyone bows. A monk whispers a blessing. You can't catch all of it, but you hear the final line. Then the softest hands can build a new year. Sleep well that night. Not just physically. Your soul sleeps well. In the morning, you'll wake to the smell of mochi and grilled fish. You'll get a lucky charm in the shape of a feather. The innkeeper will wink and say, "You've lasted longer than most, but for now, roll over in your futon, one arm tucked under your head, the other cradling a spare pillow like a loyal sidekick. Somewhere deep inside you, something shifts. Didn't just witness history. Became part of it. You wake up to the quietest morning yet. Not because the inn is empty, it's not. In fact, there's a fresh bustle outside your room. The soft patter of cleaning cloths, distant laughter from the kitchen, the subtle rustle of robes moving past your door. But something's different. It's the feeling in your chest. A kind you only get at the end of something. You sit up, stretch, and glance at your pillow. Has been your weapon, your friend, your blanket, your translator, and occasionally your shield. You smooth its cover gently, like you're saying thank you. And weirdly, you mean it. You pack slowly. Not because you have that much to carry, but because you're not ready. Not to leave the inn. Not to leave the rhythm. Not to go back to a world where pillows are just for sleeping and silence is just silence. You step into the hallway, you notice a small envelope tucked into your sandals. Inside is a note, written in the familiar brushstroke style of the innkeeper. You threw like someone who'd been here before. Maybe you have. Come back anytime. Your name is in the ledger now. Smile. Don't cry. That would be too dramatic. At the front, the staff bows deeply. One of them hands you a tiny cloth bundle. Inside is a charm shaped like a tiny pillow. You tuck it into your pocket like it's made of gold. And as you step outside, cool air greeting your cheeks, you pause, and last glance back. And then a soft thud hits your back. You turn. Young boy in a traveler's robe is grinning, holding up an empty hand like, "Oops, dropped that." A staff sigh. Somewhere, someone laughs. The cycle begins again. Pick up the pillow. Offer it back with both hands. His eyes light up. Just pass the torch. As you walk down the dirt road, the sun warming your shoulders and the charm bouncing softly in your pocket, you realize something. You never really leave a place like this, not entirely. Because the rhythm, the throws, the silence, the unexpected grace, it stays with you, maybe it even shows up again. In the quiet moments, in the laughter between strangers, in the way you forgive someone a little faster, or in the way you let yourself play again, even when the world says act serious, somewhere deep in your memory, You'll feel the thud of a pillow and smile. And you'll know you were there, really there, feathers and all. Now, let's slow things down. Ooh, I've made it through every throw, every bow, every whispered story hidden in soft folds and silent glances. The feathers have settled. The lanterns are dim. The laughter has faded into memory like a dream just barely out of reach. Take a breath. You're not running anymore. Not dodging. Not preparing your next move. You're just here, wrapped in quiet. Maybe, just maybe, a little part of that olden is still with you. The hush of tatami beneath your steps, the way moonlight filters through shoji screens, the rhythm of your breath syncing with the soft rise and fall of imagined jewels. Let your body go heavy now. Ink into the warmth of your own bed, the one that's waiting patiently for you to stop scrolling, to stop planning, to simply be. Maybe you'll dream of a garden lit by paper lanterns. Maybe you'll feel the ghost of a pillow gently tapping your foot. Maybe you'll smile in your sleep without even knowing why. Because some stories once lived don't end, they just rest, softly like you now,